Alright, so this might be a really boring topic to some people that do not really care, but that's cool. Whatevs. Move on if you don't know. Please don't stay! Watch my videos. So, if you do follow my channel and stuff, you'll know that I recently put up my favorite 100 movies of all time list. If you watch the video, there's a couple mistakes in there, but it's mostly intact. Thank fucking God for that, because I ran into a bunch of problems. So, pretty much, I just wanted to talk about the trouble I had making this video. I shot this video in April. Yeah, I wanted to do a bit of a special. I wanted to do something that was a bit longer, and I wanted to talk about my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I do run a YouTube movie-based channel. Of course, I want to talk about my favorite movies. So, yeah, I recorded, and that was fine, and everything was alright. I'd just gotten a new phone, the one that I'm shooting on now, but ran into an issue with that. Issue number one. This camera can play either auto frames per second, where it perceives it automatically, I suppose. And I've looked it up and everything. Apparently, it changes depending on the brightness. I guess that day maybe the sun came in and out, maybe it was a cloudy day or something, and it fucked with the brightness and it fucked with the auto frames per second that it was shooting in. And so that must have been the case, and that is what happened. So you can shoot with this camera either in that mode that's auto, which is it's like its default, or you can change it in the settings to be 30 frames per second at a constant rate. That is what you want. You want a constant rate so that the audio and the visual will like line up. That didn't happen, so the audio was recording as normal, but the visual was recording at a different frame rate at times. At certain times, so that, yeah, it fucked up, it didn't quite sync. Frustrating as. And this was a 2-hour shoot. It ended up being 50 minutes. That's how a lot of my videos usually end up. I shoot longer than I actually upload, because I edit everything quite heavily. I cut out all my pauses. I'm the kind of person that fucks up a lot as well, so I edit my videos quite heavily. They often end up being half the time of what I shot, or something like that, depending on how well the take goes. I also say a lot. Yeah, so that was issue number one. I wasn't aware of that while I shot it, which is annoying as fuck. But that was fine, because I could fix it. It was kind of a bit painstaking, but it was fine. All I had to do really was put it through a program called Handbrake, which I guess assists with helping keep a constant frame rate. I don't really, look, I'm not a super crazy nerd about this stuff. I don't quite know how it fixes that, because I've already shot the footage, so I don't really understand where it creates frames from, or if that's how it works, or what, but I don't really care. I don't really care about the details. All I know is that it fixed the issue, and everything was actually synced up. I mean, it took a bit of work, and I had to sync it up a bit and everything and cut stuff together, because at first, before I found this Handbrake program, I was trying to stitch it together because I thought it was maybe just a few issues. So I was pulling back or forward the visual so it would, just by eye, so it would match with the audio, and then I realized, fuck this is a huge waste of time. But regardless, I had found Handbrake and I fixed the issue. But I didn't have to handbrake everything. The first bit of the video, for some reason, I guess because the brightness was at that certain level so that it was shooting at a constant frame rate, I suppose. I think that when it's brighter, I forgot which way it is. If it's darker, it shoots with more, because it takes more in the dark, or the other way around. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this shit at all. So this video may make me look a bit stupid. I don't know. But yeah, so some of it was off, some of it was okay. The start part was okay for some reason. But then after that, I was wasting a bunch of space on my computer. And what ended up happening was that I kept the Handbrake versions, but I deleted everything else. So that meant, because I forgot, I guess, that the start was okay, and I didn't make a Handbrake version of that, and I had the Handbrake files numbered from 1 to whatever, I think it was 6. That ended up getting deleted. I deleted that because I kept only the Handbrake stuff, but I didn't have to do a Handbrake fix on the audio sync during the first little 3 or 4 minute shoot, if that makes sense. I should have kept an eye on that first one, because that first one was okay, and that was like the first 3 or 4 minutes or so. So I deleted that. That pissed me the fuck off a lot, but that was fine. I shot it the next day. Cool. Everything's fine again. The start is there. It was shot on a different day, but you can't really tell. Whatever. Anyway, so then after that, I kind of put off working on it because it had annoyed me too much. But it was taking up a lot of space on my laptop, because this was 2 hours of footage. I have a lot of other video things. I have a lot of projects. It was starting to fill up, is what I'm saying. But I put it off for months because I couldn't be bothered editing 2 hours of footage, you know? That's a lot of work. In the style that I edit, 2 hours is a lot. So, by the time that I finally got around to it again, in June or July, I'm thinking, yeah, cool. This may take a while, but I'm gonna finally be able to delete all this shit off my computer. when I finished. So I did the whole edit. It was a big, heavy edit. This was like a more complicated edit than I usually do because I was trying to save time. I was cutting the files over one another, the start and the end, if that makes sense. If you edit, you'll know what I mean, I think, if I'm explaining it well enough. The end of a file and the start of a file overlap just for like a split second or whatever, just so I can move everything over the timeline to save a bit of time. You save mere split seconds here and there, but if you do that for 2 hours, you'll save a few minutes here and there, and then you try and cut stuff out as much as possible. I'm just trying to save time so that my video doesn't go for nearly 2 hours because I'm not that interesting a person. And then there's all the pictures that I have to get of the movie posters, because this was a like ranking list, and then I had to edit in all the numbers, and I use Premiere Elements 11, which is good. It's a pretty good editing software, but it's on the cheaper end, so it's quite limited. And some obvious options that would make things easier aren't on it, which is annoying because that means things take longer. And so yeah, when that was over and I had finally finished the video, like I was so happy to finally be finished the video. You don't understand how much work this stupid video took, and it doesn't even look like it because it's just me talking. But there was a lot to it, and it took ages. Anyway, I had finally finished it. I'd set it to save. It was gonna take fucking hours and hours to save because it was a pretty big file. So cool. I left it for a while. I went out or whatever. And then when I came back to an error message and my heart sank. That's not the kind of thing that you want to experience when you get home, you know? That's not the kind of experience you want to have at all, ever, when you are creating videos. So I went to it and I saw, and it said there was not enough space on my computer. And then I saw to the right the progress bar. It had 7 seconds left. It had 7 seconds left to save completely. I had, I guess, 7 seconds too much of stuff on my computer, if that makes sense. Like the equivalent of 7 seconds of video. I had like a few too many pictures maybe, or something like that. My laptop was completely full. But that's okay. I can delete some stuff. And then I can try and save it again, which is what I tried to do. But my laptop, okay, I ran into these issues where I had deleted fucking everything. Like, I had not much left on it, and I moved stuff to another drive, and I moved all my video stuff, and I deleted unnecessary stuff that I didn't necessarily want to delete, but I had to do what I had to do, right? But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get enough space. I deleted so much, it was basically empty. Even still, this thing was full. I could not make enough space to save the video. But it was annoying because this video was the one thing that was taking up the most space on my laptop at the time. So if I could just save it, then I could delete it. I could move that file to my other drive that I had, then hopefully have enough space. That's all I wanted to do. So, something that you have to know about Premiere Elements is that it also comes with this thing called Organizer. I don't understand how Organizer works, and I hate it. I've heard that it wastes a lot of space and it duplicates a lot of your content. And I don't know if that's the case, but I was trying to research, I was trying to look it up, and you read a lot of conflicting things about it. What I'd gathered was that if you delete stuff from Organizer, it doesn't delete it from anywhere else, because that's just a viewing program. That's just to view and organize the files which are actually held elsewhere. That was my understanding. I still am not sure if that's the case or not, to be honest, but I was deleting shit everywhere. I was being careful. I was deleting what I deemed unnecessary. Another thing about Organizer is that it saves everything, even stuff that you have deleted from the laptop. It still has the base file there, but it doesn't actually have like if you have a picture that you've deleted from the computer, it will still have the name set up there, but it won't have a preview because it's deleted. It's not there anymore. But it remembers the file name, if that makes sense. So it stores the memories of old files, is basically what I'm trying to say. If I'm explaining it really badly, I'm sorry. But as of my understanding, these were deleted things that were not there anymore and were just previews. And if you clicked on it, it would say unavailable because it's gone. It's not there anymore. Understand? So I'm deleting all that stuff. I'm deleting those things which are not there anymore. Mass deletion. I'm trying to save space. And I'm not sure if that was working or not still to this day. But the point is, after I was doing that and I was searching through it, I'm like, maybe I've got enough space now. I don't know. It's probably cutting it close, but let's try again. I then went to Premiere, and then it told me that the video files that I needed for this video that I shot were non-existent. And they were asking me where the files are located. At that point, I'm fucking freaked. I am freaked the fuck out. And fair enough, because the files, the 2 hours, the things that I had spent so long on, and it was months in the making, even though I wasn't really working on it for the whole time. But still, like, I shot it in April. I just wanted to post it now. But, yeah. Somehow, those video files were deleted. They were gone. Nowhere to be seen. They weren't on the drive. They weren't anywhere. I downloaded a bunch of programs to try and recover files. Nowhere to be seen. They were gone. And I freaked. I was not happy. I was really not in a good place that day. That was really bad. What I didn't realize was that there was one way I could save it. I didn't realize it yet. I think I realized it the next day. I looked on the drive once more. What I found on the drive were the video files for this video, but they were unedited. So I did have the footage again. I had the raw footage and I could still work with that. I still had the audio in Premiere though. And I still had the files of all the pictures of movie posters. I still had all the sound effects. I still had the base of everything. All I would need to do, I figured, was take these raw footage files, delete the audio, and sync up the audio with the raw footage, if that makes sense. That is a very painstaking process, let me tell you. Another thing that I just remembered, I forgot to mention just by the way, is that first bit of the video that I was talking about that was still intact earlier, was still intact, that was fine. Up until, I think it was like from the 10-minute or so mark until maybe the 35 minute mark, that was what was missing. And then files after that were still intact for some reason. And that is what confuses me. I do not understand how these files got deleted. If it was through that organizer program, maybe it was just very bad luck or very good luck that I only deleted some stuff in the middle, but the start and the end were still intact. That's what was confusing me a lot. I don't understand how I had just the start and just the end, but I didn't have the middle. But that was the case. That was what I had, and I had about half an hour or something to fill. So I was trying to get the raw footage to sync up with the audio bit by bit, and I wasn't changing anything. I was keeping it exactly in line. I was trying to not move any of the files that were in Premiere already edited and complete, if that makes sense. So I'm just trying to put the visual stuff back into the edit, back in exactly where they were before. And that is very hard. That takes a very long time, and I'm talking, I've got 12 fucking layers of files, audio, picture, sound effects, whatever, and then I've got more files that I'm putting back into it, trying to sync it up. And I'm trying to sync it up by the audio of the raw footage with the audio of the original one, which is still intact, because I edit the audio separately so that that's a separate file from the footage, because I use Audacity to make the sound, to make it sound a bit better. God, I hope I'm explaining this okay. Yeah, so I did it. It took a week. It took a week of everyday work just trying to fix it and put the audio back and put the visual back onto the audio and have it be the same video. Now, there are some mistakes I noticed. I watched back a bit and I saw some moments where, for some reason, I missed some audio and I'm just there talking with no sound coming out, like this, like that. And there's a couple of mistakes where I left the audio of the raw footage over the audio of the edited one, if that makes sense. So that you'll hear like a double bass voice kind of thing. That's how you know that that's another fuck up of mine. And yeah, so I did it and I fixed it. And then I figured, wait, I still don't have that much space on my laptop. So how am I going to save this? Am I about to run into the same problem that I just had a week ago? I'm looking everywhere I can at this point to try and find space. I'm trying to find space so that I can, save it and post it. That's all I want to do at this point. I then go into the backlogs of like Premiere and all the kind of different filings and stuff and search through, saw if anything was worth deleting, if I needed everything. And there's a bunch of complicated stuff that's all the programming stuff. You probably need all that. I'm not touching anything there because I'm probably going to fuck up a whole lot of stuff if I do. But then I found the autosaves. These are all old autosaves and files and all old stuff that I don't need anymore that apparently Premiere saves a lot of, in case you need to go back and edit, I guess. I suppose that's why. But this is stuff from last year. This is stuff from a long time ago. I had Black Panther review stuff still there. I didn't realize this was stuff that you had to delete. I thought that on Premiere you could delete the save and that was it. But no, it keeps them hidden away within the files and everything. It keeps the auto saves hidden away and it keeps these other types of files and stuff. I don't exactly know what they are, but I knew they were unnecessary because they were stuff from last year, stuff that I didn't need anymore. So I deleted all that and I got like 40 gigs or something. So what I'm saying is, if you also use Premiere Elements 11, regularly go through that shit after you finish videos and delete stuff, because you're going to fuck up your laptop, fill it up completely with unnecessary shit, make it run slower if you don't delete that stuff regularly. I didn't know that. I know that now. I also have learned, name everything. Name files, because when I had lost the footage and I was trying to find it, it was frustrating to no end. I had a bunch of these different videos that had no names. I had to click on them, wait for them to restart and whatever and figure out what video it was. I'm just watching these old videos and none of them are it, and it was a huge waste of time. I need to save all my files on the drive as well as the laptop. I need to name every file, and I need to be more careful with all this shit. And when I am doing a mass deletion, I need to watch what the fuck I'm doing. What I'm saying is, and what I've learned is be careful. Be careful with your files and shit. Be aware of the files that your laptop is saving or computer. Be more aware of what's going on, because you can run into stupid issues that are really unnecessary if you don't know what you're doing. So that was just a little stupid lesson that I probably had to learn, I suppose. It was in the most frustrating way possible. I wasted a lot of time on this video. I guess I'm pretty proud of how it turned out, even though there are still minor issues on it. I saved it. I brought it back intact somehow through the many challenges. And yeah, I've learned to be more careful. That is all. That's a lesson for you. That's a lesson for me. Goodbye.